How's it going, everybody? It is Dennis, and we're back with another video for the New Year's week. Welcome, everybody, to 2025. As of filming the video is January 1st. No video for today, or no camera for today. Just going to take a little bit of calm. And we're just going to go over how much I made for December for the last month of 2024. Like mentioned before, we're going to be going over December for this week, going over how much I made for December. And next week, we're going to go over how much I made for 2024. In total, we're going to go into detail for every single month, how much I made, what I made, and then we're going to do a breakdown for next week. But that's next week. This week, we're talking about December and how much we made. We're going to go over our YieldMax individuals and our option trades as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the usual, the little small funds that I own in my portfolio. And that is OHI, which paid us nothing this month of December. Then we have Stag that paid us $4.09, another increase from month over month, continuing to increase 1 cent at a time. We then have Maine, which paid us $12.22, another increase for the months prior and from September as well. And of course, we're going into YieldMax. So before we go into YieldMax, let's go ahead and take a look one by one at the YieldMax charts. So looking at TSLY. TSLY paid us $1,065.22. They paid us $1,065.22 because, as you guys may or may not know, TSLY paid twice in December, in the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, due to how the holidays lined up, causing there to be two payments. We got $2 and roughly 50 cents per share distributed to us for this month of December, and we ended up ending the December month with 433.21 shares, and that left us again with $1,065.22. Looking at AMZ paid us $261.59. That was a total distribution of $86.19 per share for the month of December on our 303.5 shares that we had at the end of December. For Ablu, we got $114.26, and that was a $42.15 distribution per share for our 271 shares that we were holding at the end of December. And of course, GOOY also paid us twice this month. GOOY paid us $298.35, giving us a distribution of $91.8 per share on our 324.9993 shares at the end of the month. And of course, with AMD, our new position, we are also receiving dividends. So it's a little bit lower than the usual, but it's okay. We got $53.54, $30.42 per share for 176 shares that continue to increase month over month, because this is a new position that I'm going into in the Group C category of YieldMax ETFs. And lastly, we have YieldMax, our weekly payer. YieldMax paid us $316.63, $80.49 per share is how much we received in total for the month of December, and we ended December off with 455.45 shares owned that were distributed to us for this month. That gave us a total from YieldMax ETFs alone, just from YieldMax ETFs alone, a total dividend of $2,109.59, giving us an 82.76% growth month over month from the previous month. Of course, this is biased because we did receive two payments from TSLY and GOOY, or the Group A section of their payments. So it is a little bit biased. It's a 5-week payment technically instead of a usual 4-week for the month, but still pretty good to see. And if we go back over to the previous screen, we can see how that translates over to the overall dividends. So we did not receive anything for HTGC since we already went over how much the YieldMax paid. We could see the 1,000, the 200, the 298, 316, and 53. We move on to HTGC, which paid us nothing. We got nothing for HTGC. We got nothing for SPHD, but that is the position we sold out of already. EFC paid us $16.98, another increase month over month. We got $18.34 from DHS, another month over month increase. We got nothing for DGRW, but we sold out of that position. We got $8.60 from SCHH, an increase from the past quarter. Nothing for RITM to end off the month. And of course, QDTE coming in at $382.50. If we take a look at QDTE, going back to the screen, we can see that QDTE paid us for 4 weeks, but they had some crazy payments at the end of the month. So we had 2 crazy payments for the last 2 weeks of December. I'm assuming they were paying off their taxes or paying their last of their taxes. So for December, we received In total, $382.50 and 106.47% increase from last month. We did that by, of course, increasing our share count from 171.48 in the beginning of the month, first week, down to week 4, where we had already 188.9886 shares. The distributions also did increase. As you can see, we had 23.59 at the beginning of the month, down to 16.46, then 86.95, the highest we ever seen from QDTE, paid out in the 3rd week of December. And then we had 80.38 paid out in the 4th week of December, still above that 80-cent mark, a little lower than week 3, but still a high pair. That gave us a total, of course, for those 2 weeks of $160.94 and $151.91. And that, with those 2 little payments in week 1 and week 2, add all that up, that came out to $382.50, and even a 451.08% increase week over week from week 2 to week 3. So QDTE definitely paid a good amount. Once again, quite biased end to the year last month, because of course they're paying off whatever they owe to us, so they don't have to pay in taxes. So it kind of makes sense why the payments were so high. Kind of makes sense why the dividends were so high, why we received such a great month. We had an extra week for YieldMax ETF. We had crazy payments for QDTE 2 weeks in a row. So makes sense. It's quite biased when you think about it, of why it was such a great month for dividend investors if you're investing into these funds. But in total, how much did we make from dividends this month? Well, we made $2,552.32 from dividends alone. That is a 67.25% increase from last month of $1,526.02. So we've crossed over the $2,000 mark. Of course, like mentioned, this is a little bit biased. We have an extra week from YieldMax payments of TSLY and GOOY, and we also have QDTE paying crazy amounts for everything that they owed us for this past year. So in general, do I expect to see this next month? Probably not. I don't expect to see this in January. Maybe we stay above the $2,000 mark depending on how I distribute the dividends into the shares, and if my distributions were correct and I did the correct choices, because of course they already are distributed week over week. So if I made the correct choices with my distributions, then maybe we could stay above this $2,000 mark for dividends. But I highly doubt that we'll be above the $2,500 mark, or even maybe the $2,000 mark. We might dip back down under $2,000, but stay above the $1,500 mark for dividends, assuming that everything goes well for January with distributions. But still, we made it. We made it over $2,000 mark. That's where I was striving to hit, and I continue to strive to go higher and higher with dividends and distributions, because that's what's going to fuel the rest of the growth of my account. Now, what is the rest of the growth of my account? Well, that is the option side. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at all my option trades. And before we do that, let's see how much money we made with option trading and which option trades we made. So Riot, we sold out of. Mara, we sold out of. TSLL, we sold out of. TNA, still the position we hold, and SPY is a position we hold. NVDS, I decided to close because the premium was just not there anymore, and I decided to close that position. But from TNA and SPY, we received $580 and $340, and that gave us a total of $920, a 52.8% decrease from the last month, which was at $1949, almost at $2,000. The reason for this was because I did have to move up my TNA positions. TNA, or the leveraged Russell 2000 fund, was going quite high. It was really going high up there. It was in the 50s and the 52s, and my contracts were not there, so I had to go ahead and roll my contracts upwards, and therefore I received less premium. SPY did contribute to a good amount of options premium. As you guys can see, is paying a good amount. The overall return, which I am expecting from SPY on a annual basis, is of course roughly 50 to 60% return, which is not bad for only having one contract, being able to earn $340. And I continue to learn how to trade SPY a little bit better, to where I'm able to maximize my returns on my premiums. But let's look at the trades and the reason for why I had to make so little when it comes to TNA. So let's go ahead and take a look. Of course, down here we have our trades for 2025. This is our new chart going in for 2025. But let's take a look at 2024 of December. So how this works is we have December on the bottom. This is how much we made in total. And on top, we have all our trades up here. So looking at our first trade, made for December was actually in December 2nd, and there's 3 trades made on December 2nd for TNA. So we had one contract traded up to from 49 to 50. We rolled it up, of course, from 49 to 50 from the 6th to the 20th, and we made $25. We had another 3 contracts rolled up from 48 to 48.5 and out to the 20th and made $150. We then had 6 contracts traded up from 47 to 47.5, which made us $180. On the 6th, we then traded SPY, one contract from 604 to 606 and made $15. As you can see, we did a lot of rolling up because the market was just going crazy, upwards and upwards and upwards. And of course, after that, it did tank. Roughly around the 16th, it did tank. So that's why we were able to get a little bit of more premium towards the end of the month, but not enough to match the last month. But anyways, we did a SPY trade 604 to 606. Then we did another SPY trade on the 12th from 606 to 608. We got $113 from that. As you can see, that's when the market began to slow down a little bit. Then we had the 13th. We had 3 more trades on the 13th. We had TNA trades. So we had 6 contracts from 47.5 to 48.5. Once again, rolling upwards because I did expect the market to continue to go up, but it did not. And we got $96 for that. Then we had 3 contracts from 48.5 to 49.5, and we got $87 for that. And then we had 1 contract from 50 to 51, and that gave us $42. As you can see, this contract was out of the money, and therefore was able to give us higher premium. But these 2 contracts, the 6 contracts and the 3 contracts at 48 and 49, gave us smaller premiums due to being in the money, deeper in the money. And then the 19th, we did a SPY trade from 608 to 600. As you can see, we did a dramatic drop downwards because the market did go down. As you can see, like I mentioned before, on the 16th, we had the market go down. On the 19th is when I did my trade, and I was able to lock in $96. And then on the 26th, just last week, I was able to do a 600 to 602, move it up a little bit, and make $116. That is because volatility was quite high that week due to the market dips. And in total, that gave us $920 made for December. Not bad. Of course, not the greatest compared to what we had before. Pretty much $1,000 less in premium from options compared to last month. But of course, this is where the dividend side comes in handy, and the fact that we got an extra weekly payment from YieldMax or from YieldMax, and also crazy payments from Roundhill, where we were able to save the account when it comes to overall income earned. If we go to overall income earned, how much did we earn for the grand total of December? Well, it's $3,472.32 earned. Just $3 off of last month, just negative 0.08% down compared to last month earnings. That is absolutely great. Like I said before, the dividends were able to cushion that fall or the negative return month over month from the premiums, from the options. We were able to soften that fall with our dividends of $2,552.32. So pretty much the dividend saved it this month, and I'm quite glad that we got 2 payments from TSLY and GOOY. I'm quite glad that they were very strong, and I'm quite glad that QDTE hit us with a lot of the high payers due to tax reasons, because that did save my overall growth perspective or my growth goal for my portfolio, right? So like I said, like I mentioned before, I try to keep my month over month continuing to grow. As you can see, I do have red days, and of course this was using my old strategy or my red months. And then once we switched over strategies over to a different strategy that I mentioned in multiple videos, I will mention once again in next week's during the overall portfolio review, we continue to have more green days with some red in the middle. And honestly, for this month, honestly, this shouldn't even be red. It's just $3 off. I would actually count this as a green, or actually just 0%, because honestly, this is still an accomplishment, being able to not have that premium but still win on the dividend side, and has 67.25% growth on the dividend side, saving us on the overall portfolio. So yes, that is it. That is my December income. It's $3,472.32, and I'm hoping that for January, coming January now for 2025, we are able to have the market stabilize a little bit and maybe trend upwards. Hopefully all this sell-off that we have experienced was for tax purposes. I assume that it was for tax purposes. If it's not, then it's not going to be the greatest of times when it comes to maybe dividends or growth of the portfolio. But maybe from premium, it might be quite well, because usually you make a lot of premium on the way down due to volatility, and also you're able to take riskier trades if the market continues to trend downwards, and you're able to take good premiums on your trade. So hopefully that goes well. As you guys could have seen on the options trades, we did make some good option trade. We made some good option income starting off for January already from expiration date of January 3rd to January 10th. We made 228 and 120 on 9 of our contracts. We actually have one more contract. I actually bought back one of the contracts and I'm still holding it. Haven't traded it just yet, but 228, 120. If I trade one more contract around the $40 mark, we're already hitting around the 400, almost $500 mark. That's already more than half of what we made from the previous month. So expect next month to be back to normal when it comes to options premium, and dividends being back to normal as well, going back down probably below the $2,000 mark. But that is pretty much it for December. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys had a great New Year's, that you guys celebrated with family and friends, and hopefully you guys have a good outlook for 2025 when it comes to your portfolios and just overall life. Hopefully you guys have some goals set for your portfolios in your life that you guys want to achieve day by day, just 1% better, you know, better than the day before. And hopefully you guys are able to achieve that, grow your portfolios, invest into some ETFs, take some more risk, because without risk there is no reward. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching for this week, and thank you so much for supporting for 2024. We've grown a lot in this channel, but honestly, I'm going to get more into that in the next video. We're going to talk over just in general the channel, my total return in 2024, my portfolio, and everything I'm looking forward to in 2025. So I'll keep everything for that video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for 2024, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we'll be going over my portfolio in general 2025 guides or 2025 future. So thanks so much again. That was my income of $3,472.32 for December of 2024, the last month of 2024. See you guys in the next video.